Oh, beautiful pearls. I hope you had a great weekend and I wish you have a great week ahead. I love Monday Lives because they allow me to check on you after the weekend and to wish you a great week ahead. So hopefully I leave you every Monday after the Monday Live with some high vibrations and positive energy. So this is why I like the Monday Lives. I'm very happy that you are here with me today. The topic that we're going to talk about today is quite a controversial one, to say the least, because everybody thinks about it in a completely different way. I've had my own experience with being stuck, and this is the main topic that we're talking about today. But the reason why I'm talking about it today is because over the past few months, maybe even few years. I mean, I think since the pandemic started, we hear about people being stuck, and we ourselves go through this phase of being stuck quite, um, like, how do you say it? Quite often, right? So that's the main reason why I want to talk about this today. And also, over the week, over the past few weeks, and also over the weekend, I've had a lot of people around me in my life going through this phase of being stuck. I was in it. Don't get me wrong. We all go through it. It's not like I'm someone who has figured it all out and I'm amazing at it. I still have my moments, but I've been through it. I was in a place where I was stuck for a while. And every now and then I get to that phase where I get stuck, but it's like a smaller period of time, smaller interval. The reason usually is a very simple reason, something that's not really like life changing, because I've already been through the stuckness that was life changing for me. So it started with me long before Corona actually hit, and long before the pandemic, and long before the lockdown, and when everyone was not able to connect to everyone else. So even before that, I was in that situation where I was stuck. I had so many things happening in my life, so many ups and downs. And I used to think that everything needed to be perfect for me to have a normal life. And everything has to be, spot on, and nothing can be wrong. And so I used to be a perfectionist, right? And when I started working on myself, only then that I realized that, it's impossible to be perfect. But when I was in that phase of my life, and I also had so many ups and downs because I was changing my career. I was changing my network of people, my surrounding. I changed my friends. I changed all my habits. I changed everything about my life, basically. The people that I used to go out with, the people that I used to allow in my life, my relationship with my family, my relationship with my friends. So everything was changing for me. And it was very hectic. Like, it was very fast, very hectic. There was no time for me to breathe. And I felt like I was doing the things that I was doing. I felt like I was doing them over and over and over again, and everything became so overwhelming for me, up to a point when I used to reach a state where I get like completely stopped, and suddenly I would just withdraw, and my close friends would know that about me, that like when things become very, very, very tough and very overwhelming and something major, and usually there's a trigger, usually there's this trigger that pushes that button when I feel like that's it. I'm stuck. There's nothing that I can do. There's nothing that I can do anymore. I cannot live this way, or I feel like no matter what I do, nothing is changing. No matter what I do, nothing is happening for me. And I get stuck, and I would actually sit with myself and not talk to anyone. This is how stuck I used to get, and just refrain from any social activity, anything that connects me to the outside world. And I used to sit for weeks on end, just doing nothing, and sometimes not even thinking. And it used to be, when I look at it now, when I look back at those times, I realized that I was actually depressed. And maybe this is the first time I actually say it out loud. This is the first time I mention that maybe, and I'm still saying maybe, at that time, I was actually depressed, and I was actually going through an anxious phase of my life. So I used to sit alone, and I used to think, this is the end. Nothing's happening for me. And again, I used to always ask, why is this happening to me? Why me? These big questions that we always ask ourselves when we hit a dead end, or when we are going through something, and then we find zero solutions for our issues, zero solutions for our problems, and we feel like problems are just escalating or even piling up, and it becomes so difficult for us to breathe and think and talk, and so I mean, even now talking about it, I feel like it's so much happening. I don't want to go back there. This is the best thing about where I am today, is that I figured some stuff out that will never let me go back there. At that time of my life, I didn't realize it was something that I can do. It was within my own power to get out of that situation, to get unstuck. So I didn't know what to do. I felt so overwhelmed, and I felt so helpless. Helpless is probably the best word to describe it. And this is why I used to just sit with myself and not talk to anyone, and sometimes not even think. But then, after a while of this happening, like for quite a long time, I started kind of getting myself busy with work. It helped a little bit. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because today I'm going to actually share with you how I got over this. But it started with a very simple change in my life, that it's not like I decided to do it. It just happened because this is how my life was. I needed to work. I needed to sustain myself. So I was working, and working got me a little bit out of my own personal overwhelming life and situation, and my own stuckness. But I was still stuck, like emotionally and mentally. I was still stuck. I was working, that's true. I was focusing on my work, that's true. But I was in my inner self, and with my thoughts, I was not okay. Nothing was okay. Until the pandemic came. So all the time before the pandemic, I had those ups and downs in my life, and mainly those ups and downs were caused because I was stuck. Right before the pandemic hit, I was going into this phase of procrastination that was just, for now that I look back at it, like at the time it was okay, but now that I look back at it, I think, oh my God, how much time did I waste just procrastinating on things, and keep pushing things till later, and maybe never happening, never doing them actually. see, even now when I'm talking about it, I get so like kind of agitated, which shouldn't be the case because I got over it. But it's just like, it's like I'm reliving that state of mind, and that state of not just mind, it was a state of mind, body, and soul, and spirit, and everything you can think of. And I got so disconnected from so many things in my life and so many people in my life because I was going through that phase. And when the pandemic hit, it was like this jolt that I received that was kind of waking me up, saying, hey, Maysoon, what are you doing? Like, what is happening with you? What is it that is keeping you stuck in all of this for the past few years? So it wasn't just like a month or two, it was a couple of years that I was stuck. So I thought to myself, this probably is the best time for me to understand what is happening and why. Not why. I actually didn't want to understand why it's happening. I just wanted to understand what is happening and how I can get out of that situation or of that state that I was living in. That's all I cared about. So when the pandemic hit and we were put in lockdown, this time that I spent, I actually made it a point to spend it in a very positive way, in a very, how do you say it, productive way. Although there was nothing probably productive, like from a work perspective, when it comes to the lockdown period, but with myself, it was very productive. So I sat with myself. And for those who know me, they will tell you probably that Maysoon is probably the most positive person that um, they can ever meet. And yet, with all that positivity that I had, and it was something probably that people, maybe that's what they saw because this is what I was giving. This is what I was, uh, like, at least what I wanted to do. And again, this is like even a revelation for myself right now, that I didn't want anyone to know what was happening to me. This is why I was still giving those positive vibes, although deep down inside, there was nothing positive about what was happening with me. The whole situation, the whole stuckness, the whole procrastination, the whole wanting to be perfect, all of this was not okay. I was not okay. I was not good. And that positivity that I was radiating to the outside, it wasn't really what I was going through. It was just because this is how everyone perceived me. This is how people saw me. And I wanted to keep that image for myself. But deep down inside, I was working on the other side of me that was completely down and that was completely depressed and that was completely stuck. So I started working on myself by giving myself the benefit of the doubt and asking myself the questions that were very important for me then. Like, what are you going to do about it? This was the main question before anything else, not why. I used to, when I was stuck, I used to ask myself, why is this happening to me? I used to play the victim all the time. And why me? And uh, and I used to compare, like, why me and not someone else? It's like, such a very bad place to be in. Not just when you are thinking that you are being wronged, but when you are comparing the things that are happening to you, the bad things that are happening to you, to the good things that are happening to other people. And I can assure you, a lot of you might relate to what I'm saying. And a lot of you might be going through this maybe now or have gone through it just maybe even during the pandemic or before. So I started, instead of keep on asking myself these questions, questions, I started asking myself, what are you going to do about it? Maysoon, wake up. What are you going to do about it? So the first thing that I thought of, or that crossed my mind, because I am the one who always um, um, sends out those positive vibes and those positive thoughts, I decided that instead of just sending them out to people, why don't I think them myself? Why don't I start thinking them for me and applying them on me? And that was the first thing that I started doing. So instead of just sending out those negative vibes and sending out those positive vibes and sitting with my negative vibes, I started doing the positive vibes both ways. So inside and outside. And this started helping me a lot by just, putting myself in a different situation or in a different place. Like I moved from here just to here, like one step ahead, by just shifting my thoughts to myself, to be positive thoughts rather than negative thoughts. So I'll give you an example. I always give, I always tell friends of mine, if they are going through bad times, or if they are going through negative, or if they have negative thoughts, I always give them those uplifting thoughts, those uplifting emotions. So I started giving them to myself. It's a very simple process. It's not rocket science. It's just, instead of lingering in that negativity, I started giving myself the same positive reinforcements, affirmations, thoughts, advices, whatever you want that I used to give my friends, I started giving them to myself. This is the first thing that I started doing. And it was an instant shift with me. At least that was the first step. So this is a step that you can also take when you are going through this phase where you feel stuck and you feel that nothing is working. The second thing I did, and I think a lot of people did those, especially when it was during the lockdown, I did a lot of 21 days exercises. Now, why is it that they do 21 days exercises? Because it takes your subconscious mind 21 days to get a habit set in, and then it becomes kind of like on an autopilot in your subconscious mind. So I did those 21 days, and they also lifted me up because I faced a lot of my own negativity in my own brain when I was doing these exercises, because they will ask you to like face certain things, send some forgiveness to some people, remove the resentments, thank someone who has actually hurt you. Can you imagine like how tricky that is? But this is something that helped me personally, and I want to share it with you because it helped me going through this process from being where I was. Because even if I didn't know, a lot of the things that I was going through and this being stuck that I was in is caused by so many things that are happening in my subconscious mind. It's because I am always repeating negative thoughts to myself without even knowing. Sometimes, I mean, most of the time when you are stuck, because you get stuck and then you wonder, why are you stuck? You don't know, but subconsciously, in your subconscious mind, this is what your brain is doing. You're repeating negative things to yourself, negative thoughts. You become fatigued. You become restless, and then there's a lot of anxiousness, and this anxiousness and this restlessness, it leads to depression as well. And I think this is what was happening to me. I was not clinically I was not, and only now I'm realizing it actually. Only lately I'm realizing that this is where I was. And I'm so thankful for number one, myself. Because the second thing that is most important for you to get out of depression or being stuck, I'm not going to say depression, I'm going to say being stuck, is first of all realizing that you are stuck, realizing that there's something wrong, and then remembering that you are the boss, that this is your choice, that if you take a decision, you can make things happen for yourself. And that's the second thing that I did. I thought, why am I doing this? I don't want to know. I've been doing this for a while now, repeating the same mistakes, going through the same process, procrastinating on ideas that I wanted to work on things that I wanted to do for myself, never doing them. And then I thought, you know what? No, that's not how it's going to work. And I took a decision to change. I took a very conscious decision that now I'm going to start a new me. And this is when I started working on myself. This is when I started taking a lot of self development classes, a lot of self development courses that were helping me out. I did a lot of reading. I watched so many documentaries that are related to this matter. But I only did that because I took a decision. So this for me was the second step. The first step that I realized was the positive thinking. This is something that is major for me because I give it and it's always there. So yes, give it and also feel it. Do it for yourself. So remembering that I have a choice whether I want to get stuck or I want to move on, and then taking that decision. So there's always this place where if you are stuck and you want to get out of it, remember it's your choice. Remember that you have that option. Your choice is to either be stuck or to unstuck yourself. So think about it this way and ask yourself, do I want to stay stuck or do I want to get out of it? And then if you want to get out of it, start with the exercise of being in positive thinking mood or mode all the time. Then also something else that's very important. Your mind will always come to you with negative thoughts and negative ideas and those ideas that you cannot do this and you're not strong enough to do these things and you're not strong enough to get out of the situation you are in and you don't know how to do it. Your mind, or more specifically your ego, is always trying to protect you because it doesn't know what's going to happen if you're going to do this or if you get out of it. This is its comfort zone. It's sitting in the comfort zone, and taking the mind out of its comfort zone is something that the ego will always get an alert about. And the ego will come and say, hang on there, no, stay here, don't go. We don't know what's out there. Maybe we get hurt. Maybe something wrong is going to happen. So the ego will always try to protect you. But remember, it's your choice. The thing that you can do that is very important as well is acknowledging those negative thoughts. And not just, suppress them, just acknowledge them. Like literally have this conversation with your thoughts. Say thank you and say, I acknowledge that you are here. I acknowledge that you are trying to protect me. I acknowledge that you think it's impossible for us to do this. Thank those ideas. Thank your ego. And tell them clearly that, you know what, this time I'm going to take a step forward. I'm going to go through this process. And I don't want you to be scared because I can handle it and I'm controlling it. It's like literally, it's like you're talking to a baby who is afraid, and you're telling them, don't worry, I am going to take you through this. I will hold your hand all the way, and I will take you from point A to point B without any issues. Think about it exactly this way. So acknowledge these thoughts, thank them, and tell them that you are in charge and that they don't need to worry. And this is amazing. For me, it was such an eye-opener when I started doing it. It's amazing. And I do it now all the time. Every time I have a negative thought, every time I come across something that bothers me or something that could be alarming to me, I would stop, I would acknowledge the thoughts, and I would say, thank you. I'm handling it. Don't worry about it. And just sit and relax. And it works. It works. It's like you are moving your own being and your own, how do I say it? Your own strength from this place, let's say, to this place. You're lifting yourself up. And it's amazing the feeling that you get when you lift yourself up. You feel like you're invincible. You can do anything that you set your mind to. And that's exactly what happens. You set your mind to it and you do it. So you set your mind to it and you do it. And this is the third thing, which is action. So it's not just like acknowledging those thoughts and saying to your ego, don't worry, I will handle it. It's actually taking that action and going for it. So if your ego is telling you, no, this is scary, don't do it, and then you acknowledge, but then also you don't do, that doesn't work. So if you acknowledge the ideas and say thank you, and don't worry, I'm on it, I'll figure it out, and it's going to be okay, then you have to actually take the action. And then when you take the action, you get there and you get yourself out of that stuckness that you are in. Now, this is an exercise that you're doing. So basically, you are remembering first that it's your choice. You are acknowledging your ideas. You are acknowledging your worries and your ego alarms, and you are thanking them. But as well, but you are also saying that, you know, I'm on it. I'm good to go, and I can do it. And then you do it. So these are 3 steps. Then the 4th step, which is very important, is going back to these 3 steps and reflecting on them. So what was it? What was the choice that you did? Was it the right choice? Was it the wrong choice? If it was the wrong choice, what could have been the right choice? And then it's like a process that you go through. You reflect on the things that you have done, and then you refine the process. So if something was wrong, you find a better way to do it and you do the right thing. And then you repeat. This becomes a habit. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. For me now, it's like it happens in seconds. It's not a process that even takes time anymore, because my brain is already used to it. My brain is already now aware that whenever there's something that is alarming, that is going to keep me procrastinating, or when I think of, no, I need to perfect this before I can go ahead, my brain straight away goes through that process of, okay, thank you for telling me that, you know, maybe I need to make it perfect. I understand. Thank you so much. However, I'm going to move ahead without it being perfect. And don't worry, I will handle. And I just did this. I mean, literally, I just did this the past weekend, not this one, the weekend before. And I went with something, I put something online that was completely not ready. that had like literally maybe two pieces of content, and I put it online, and I went completely out of my comfort zone, and I was so happy doing it. And I took the action there and then after having this little conversation with myself. So how do you say it? It feels so satisfying. It feels so satisfying knowing that you actually have this power over yourself, over your thoughts, over what you can do. And again, this brings me to being in charge. So that power that you get when you are actually in charge is amazing, and you feel like there's nothing that you cannot do. Another thing that's very important also to try and do when you are stuck is there are lots of exercises that will make you get out of this being stuck and be present in your present moment. Because, you know, when you are stuck, what do? You are thinking, you are going with your ideas, you are imagining, you are always putting the worst case scenarios for everything that you have in your life. And this is mainly why you feel stuck, because that's like you overwhelm yourself, and then you go like, there's nothing I can do about it. Oh my God. And then you are stuck again. So instead of going in your mind and thinking like negatively about everything that's going to happen to you, or oh my God, my life is a waste and my life is a complete mess, breathe, breathe, breathe. And when I say breathe, it's for you to be present, to live, to come back to here, to now, to this moment, and be present in this moment. There are so many exercises that you can do that will make you, that will help you be present in the moment. I personally love the breathing exercises. There are so many different ones, but there are breathing exercises that you can do. There's one that's like you inhale to the count of 4. You can imagine a box in front of you, okay, and inhale to the count of 4. While you are inhaling to the count of 4, you can just in your visual, or you can just let's say this is the laptop, so I count to 4, okay, and I go with my side from right to left, so from left to right, as I am breathing, as I am taking in those this breath for the count of 4. And then I go down for the count of 4, and I breathe out to the count of 4. I go from right to left, and then down, up. So this way, do that for 1 minute, and then it will bring you to this moment. You will be completely focused on what you are doing. And this is what we mean by being present. Your brain is not going left, right, and center and thinking about the things from here, from there, from everywhere. You are simply in this moment doing this exercise of breathing. Another exercise that you can do, because a lot of people don't like find it, not a lot. I mean, people sometimes find it difficult to meditate. So instead of going and meditating, and sometimes actually meditation is very, it makes you also go to places if you want to manifest, or if you want to get out of a certain state that you are in. So instead of using this kind of meditation, being present, when you meditate, you are usually present, but it's like a process that will take maybe time for people to master. So the simpler exercises are the breathing exercise, for example, that I just shared. There's another exercise that you can do, which is like while you are walking, you can do, it's called a quick meditation. Even the breathing exercise is a quick meditation. So you can While you are walking, for example, you're going for a walk, you can count your steps while you are taking your breath, and you can try to synchronize the two. So basically, your focus is so much on this action that your brain is present in this moment, because that's what your brain is doing. It's counting your steps and counting your breath and trying to synchronize the two. And this makes your moment so present, because there's no way you can do these things and walk at the same time and your mind be somewhere else. So this is a perfect exercise that will help you be present. There are so many different exercises. These are the two that I'm going to share with you today, but there are so many exercises out there that you can do to make you present. And when you are present, it's very, very different from being stuck. So, because when you are stuck, like I said, you go out with your thoughts. Let's put it this way. So you go out with your thoughts and you start making them way much bigger than they are, way much more difficult than they are. And like they become so exaggerated because you keep on thinking about them, and you think and you think and you think. Remember, everything that you think of all the time, it stays there. It never goes away. So if you are always thinking of your bad situation, your unhappy relationship, your unhappy feelings, your sadness, the more you think of them, the more you attract, and the more they persist. I don't want to say attract. If not attract, at least they persist. They will not go away. So the more you think of them, it's like you're keeping them there. And when you think of them and you're exaggerating them, you're making them even worse. So when you are present in the moment, you're not even thinking of this. So you are here, you are now, and your thoughts are not even given any kind of attention. And this is another way for you to get out of being stuck. What I also did, remember I told you I had so many ideas, so many things that I wanted to do, and I was procrastinating on literally every single one of them. No kidding. I didn't do any single one of them until I thought, okay, this is not manageable. This is not doable. Not in this very short period of time. This will take a lot of work. This will go and then I realized, okay, this is what I was doing wrong. I was putting myself in situations where I was putting goals and desires that are really, really unattainable at that time and unmanageable, not just unattainable. They were unattainable and I couldn't manage them because they were too much for me since I was in that situation. So the other thing that I did was I put myself in a place where I put shorter period of time goals, and they were manageable to me. They were goals that I knew I could achieve. They were goals that I put special process for, and I knew I could achieve them. I did not go and put those goals that are like the dreamy goals that we put for ourselves. Those goals that are like, what's the word? They're like we challenge ourselves with these goals. It's not about challenging ourselves. It's about really putting yourself in a place where you give yourself a goal that you know you can attain, that you know you can get to. Because every time you reach a goal or every time you succeed in anything, your joy is what's going to take you to the next level. And this is why when you are doing these things, when you are trying to get out of being stuck and you are taking these steps, it's important that you also take them step by step. And when you cross every step, celebrate, enjoy, have fun, celebrate it. Yes, I did it. And feel it, not just say it, like feel it that, yes, I did it, I managed. Like, okay, what's next? So you put yourself in this excitement, that this excitement on its own is taking you out of your stuck situation. And you are already moving towards being unstuck and towards being more fulfilled and happier in your life. And now, the more you get to your goals, the bigger the goals can become. But you start with small goals, like baby steps, I call them, step by step, and then you reach there. And one that is very, very, very important to me, and I talk about it all the time, is learn how to love yourself. And by loving yourself, I'm not saying, I don't mean be selfish. I don't mean ignore the people around you. And I don't mean be nasty or be bad to the people around you, or just keep on saying no to everything that happens around you that is not related to you or that's not fulfilling to you. No. What I mean by love yourself is appreciate who you are, appreciate your body, appreciate your mind, appreciate your experience, appreciate everything that you have been through in your life. Because whatever you've been through in your life, you are the only one who knows what it was. You are the only one who knows how much it affected you. You're the only one who knows what you have learned from your experiences. So appreciate that. Love that about yourself. Love that about your journey. Understand what happened, why your journey happened, why did you choose this journey, and appreciate everything and acknowledge and love it. And by loving your journey, you will be able to love yourself consequently. And loving yourself will reflect on everything around you and everyone around you. So when you start by loving yourself, you become so magnetic to a point that everyone will realize, like, there's something that has shifted in that person. I tell you from my personal experience, I've always been someone who was so sure of herself. I never had this problem. I was never like that person. Well, maybe I did. Yes, actually, I did when I was very young, when I was back in school. I was that introvert, that girl who would sit in the corner, that girl who, nobody talks to, and she doesn't talk to anyone. I was a loner, and I had like zero self-esteem back then. And I actually don't remember what happened, but I suddenly became that, you know, not extrovert per se, but I became that loud person when I, and I think it had so much to do with the school I was in. I'm pretty sure it was so related. So when I changed when my parents changed the environment for me, I became louder. I became more assertive. I became more certain, more self-confident, and I became more out there, which is very interesting. But then again, there was this point when I started working on myself and developing my own awareness about the universe, about the world, about why things happen the way they happen, or how we can make things happen for us. I started realizing that when I was stuck, I was actually not loving myself. I was in a place where I hated myself. I was in a place where I felt so bad for myself. I felt so sorry for myself. I felt pity for myself. And this was one of the main reasons why I was actually stuck. And then when I realized that and I started loving myself, I became completely different. I got out of it. It was like such an eye opener. when I started loving myself. And I used to like when people would tell me, you don't love yourself enough. You love everyone around you, but you don't really love yourself enough. I used to like laugh. What do you mean? No, of course I love myself. And then when it hit me, when I realized that no, when I saw myself being stuck, and when I saw myself putting myself in situations that would bring me back to sadness and bring me back to procrastination and bring me back to wanting to be alone and just cutting myself out of the world, I realized that no, I was not loving myself. So I started loving myself. And I have like a completely I have another live that I actually go through the whole all the steps that you can go through in order to love yourself. I don't remember when it was, but check it out. I did a self-love live previously, so you can check it out and you can see all the ways that you can implement in order to love yourself. But please love yourself. Another thing that can be done when you are stuck, and this is the like one of the major things that we never, like almost never ask ourselves, except when we are in this awakening, like, oh, okay, now what? And then we start asking. And that's basically understand why you are here, why you want to do the things that you want to do in your life. This is like your why, even in your business, even in whatever you want to do in your life, there's always a reason. So understanding this reason is a major, major step forward in whatever you want to do. So even when you are stuck, understanding why you are stuck is also so important. So the understanding of the why will help you move forward to know the how to get out of it and the how to move forward. So that's why it's important to understand your why. And in everything, like if you are doing a business, if you are starting a business, understanding why you want to do this business is the number one, like is the first step towards succeeding in this business. Because if you go into a business without understanding why you're doing it, eventually it will fall. It's like procrastination. Like when I started coming up with all these amazing ideas, if I tell them to you, you'd be like, oh my God, why didn't you do them? I didn't do them because I didn't know why I was coming up with these ideas, because I didn't have a why strong enough actually to make me go ahead and do those ideas. One of them was very strong, and I actually did it previous weekend. I told you I did something out of my comfort zone. That was it. So this was like a very strong why for me. I know why I wanted to do this. I was just at that time, I was so stuck. I didn't know how to do it. I figured out a different way because I was thinking, okay, I want to do this and I know why I want to do it. But I was choosing the wrong medium and I was choosing the wrong next step. When I figured what the right next step is, I just did it. Although it was out of my comfort zone, but I did it. And I encourage you to do the same. Find out your why, find out why this is happening, and then you will be able to also, by applying all the other steps that I gave you already, you can get out of your stuckness. I don't know if stuckness is even a word, by the way. And then, very important is believing in yourself and knowing that you are strong enough. We always, a lot of us at any, like, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure that many people out there um, have at one given point in their life played the victim role. We've all done it. We've all done it. That, it's not me, it's them and the world and the people and my parents and my friends, but it's never me, I mean, we've all been there. We've all been in that situation. So getting out of that by going through all these steps that I just went through with you, the last and final step is to nurture that inner strength, is to make it bigger and make it fuller within you, that you have what it takes to do everything that you want to do, everything that you put your mind to, everything that you set your mind to. You have the strength, you have the power, you have the will, and you have the understanding and the decision making process. If you go through all the steps, you can get there. And the more you do it, it becomes a habit. And then this strength of yours becomes your guide, becomes your, what do you call it? Your boussole. I know it in French, I don't know it in English. Your compass. It becomes your compass. So do all of these exercises. Go through if you are stuck today in your life, try these steps. First, take a decision. Okay, number one, and know that you have the choice. Know that it is your choice and take that decision. Number two, acknowledge those thoughts and say thank you, but say also that you know what you're doing and you can do it, and that your ego can relax. You're going to take care of it. Nothing's going to happen to it. Three, act. So not just acknowledge and relax them. No, act. Do the action. Take that step. Move forward. Number four, remember those three. Go through them again. Revise them. Refine them. And repeat. Repeat the refined and the revised version. Yeah, don't repeat the same version initially. That if it worked, of course, yes, repeat it. If there's something that you need to change about it, change it and then repeat it. And the more you repeat, repetition makes perfect. So the more you repeat, the better it becomes. And then it becomes a habit for you. It becomes something that you do on autopilot. Number five, remember to be present. When you feel like your brain is going in all directions, sit for a minute, do those exercises, be present in the moment. And then after being present in the moment, give yourself a task that you need to finish right now, right, like there and then, and something that's like very important, and do it. So that action as well, after just being present, it will keep you kind of present. Then be very realistic in the kind of goals that you set for yourself. Remember, don't put those unimaginable goals that will overwhelm you. Put realistic goals, manageable goals, and work on making them happen. You will be able to make them happen because they are manageable and they are realistic. Number seven, love yourself. Personally, I would start with number seven. Okay, but I mean, this is how the discussion went, or the talk went. So number seven, love yourself. And love yourself in a way where you are kind to who you are, where you are compassionate to you, before even being compassionate to everyone around you. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the things that you didn't know better when you made them happen for you. But now you do. So forgive yourself, be compassionate, and love yourself inside out. Respect your body, respect your thoughts, respect your beliefs, respect everything about who you are. Number 8, find your why. And when you find your why, take the right action and move forward. Prepare a vision for your why and just move forward. Take that step and do it step by step. Don't rush it. Just take it slowly, do it step by step. And remember to celebrate every time something good happens while you are on that way, on that path. Celebrate, enjoy, teach your body that when something good happens, I'm going to celebrate. Your body will be asking for it. Your body will be like, yes, when are we having this celebration again? Move it. And it will keep on alerting you. It will keep on reminding you. And this is very interesting because it's happened to me all the time now. Like sometimes my body would tell me, come on, what's happening? Let's move it. Let's do something. So, and talking about it, you might think that, okay, what's she talking about? Try it, and believe me, it works. Experience it and listen. Your body will always tell you, by the way. Your body will always tell you when things are good and when things are bad. It's like your ego as well. Your ego will tell you, but your ego will try to stop you. Your body wants to celebrate and have fun. Number 9, remember that you are strong and nurture that feeling. Remember and nurture the feeling that you have the strength, that you have the power, that you have what it takes to be that person who elevates themselves from wherever they are, that stuckness, and move themselves from this point, to that point where they have all the possibilities, all the positivities, all the what do you call them? The successes that you wish for, that you are happy to have in your life. So instead of being stuck, be present and be aware and be more excited rather than just stuck. Be more excited about what the future might hold for you, about what you want for yourself in your future, and go through those steps. You can see this video over and over again and just maybe write them down and go through them. If you are in that situation where you are stuck, go through them, and it will help you get out of that stuckness. And if you want to be if you want to take more advice, and if you want to be closer to understanding why and how we can get out of this, and if you want to work with me, maybe directly one-on-one, also let me know. I'm here, I'm around. You can just in the Facebook chat or in the comments, you can write down anything that you want me to work on with you or help you with, and I'm here to help, and I'm here ready to help you. I have a program for all of this, and this is just one simple part of the program. So if you feel like this is something that you want to work on and this is something that I can help you with, please reach out, let me know, and let's have a discussion. Let's have a discussion together about this. And I will see in this discussion if I can help you, and if I find that our energies work together and you are ready and you are willing to invest on yourself with your time and your efforts to elevate yourself from where you are, and I can help you with that, this is where we can start working together. So if you feel that you are that I can help you with anything at this point, please let me know and let's have this discussion. With that, I'm going to finish today's live by wishing you an unstuck life. And I hope that with the information that I gave you today, I was able to maybe add a little bit of uh, positivity and optimism to your life. And I hope that I can support you in any way. And I hope that this has been fruitful and helpful to you. And with that, I'm going to say ciao, ciao.